Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw. I'm here with a very familiar face if you've been hanging around the industry over the years. Scott Koepf, who is the Senior Vice President, Strategic Development for Cruise Planners. And we're here not because of that, but because recently at the CLIA Cruise 360, Scott was named a winner of the Hall of Fame Award. You're too young for that, but we'll talk about that. And we're going to find out about his, first of all, his award. We're going to talk about his experience in cruising and in fact, in travel agents in general. We've been working together for a long time, and we're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Scott, first of all, it's wonderful to see you here. We're here at the ASTA Global Convention, live in person in Chicago, and as usual, you are here. Thank goodness.
I am here, and like you say, it is so great to be here, eyeball to eyeball with all these fabulous folks. So it's wonderful to be back at it.
In person, and it's amazing, and it's been a long time, over a year, quite frankly. Now, tell me a little bit about this award. When did you first hear they were going to name you the Hall of Famer?
Well, it was a very honoring award, and certainly I'm very proud of it. The first I heard of it was actually a surprise that Charlie from CLIA did a little video to introduce it to me at one of our cruise planners training programs, and told me about it, and it was quite a shock. Believe it or not, even I was speechless. So that's
hard to do, because you're really, as you know, Scott is a wonderful speaker, good singer too, and you naturally sung after that, right?
Well, indeed. That particular night I was really speechless, but it was really special. And as I mentioned actually in the speech that I gave that night, that your life kind of flashes before your eyes, or at least your career, because the award is about the career, and you kind of think just how entrenched I've been in the cruise industry and the retail side of this business for almost 40 years. So
talk a little bit about that. Talk about how the arc of your career. What did you start as?
Oh wow. Well, yeah. How long do you have here? But
we got all night. We're fine.
There you go. Well, it started actually back in 1985, and my bride and I bought one of the very first cruise-only travel agencies in the country, and it was at the time considered very radical. I mean, it really
you weren't even considered real travel agents back then.
Oh no, we weren't allowed to join ASTA. Right. CLIA didn't know what to do with us. I mean, it was really radical, and it was kind of unique to be on the cutting edge of that. And then my bride and I actually went to work on cruise ships for a while, and when we came back.
That's right. People don't know he was a performer. Surprise, surprise! Indeed. On a cruise ship.
Yeah, I'm a singer. My wife's a singer and dancer, and we did that. It was a great experience. But came back and worked for the corporate office of Cruise Holidays International. I was there about 8 years. Eventually went back on the retail side, and then really just ever since then have been really on the retail side and on the agency advocacy side of really helping travel agents become more successful. And that's my passion. That's what I've been driven by.
Well, for a while you were associated with ASTA, with NACTA, the National Association of then Commissioned Travel. I got to remember the right commissioned travel. Cruise travel. Yeah, so you had that, and career travel agents. Yeah. That's right. That changed. We both got that. We got memories about this. Then you ended up with Avoya for a number of years, and now you've moved over to Cruise Planners, and now you're getting this award. And so you've seen the evolution of cruising and cruise sales, right?
I really have. You think back when, again, we started in '85, and as a cruise specialist, literally I knew every ship, and I knew every itinerary, and I knew, I knew incredible details. You can't do that with even one cruise line today because of the scope of it. So, and specialization I think has changed a lot. I mean, it was very, as I say, radical then to even consider specializing. Right. Then in those days, about 80% of all the income of travel agents came from airline tickets. And so that's why a lot of people thought we were out of our mind that we were opening an agency when we're basically saying, okay, 80% of the income we're not paying any attention to. But it obviously worked, right? And the whole concept changed. Now you really don't have too many that would call themselves cruise only. Even at Cruise Planners, even though the name cruise is in
We're selling a lot of all-inclusives now, right?
Tons of land. I mean, our percentage is growing all the time of the amount of land business that we
you kind of had to do that the last year.
Certainly, recently, yeah, that became exacerbated, but for good reasons. And so again, I think there's so much opportunity out there on the whole leisure side, but specialization, I think, think is changed more, maybe from product side to more customer side. Finding the right customer is the right way to specialize, I think.
No, absolutely. And a cruise plan. So what do you see as we're emerging from the pandemic and the ships are going back in the water all over, even in Florida, everywhere? Are we going to get through this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that was the one first step that everybody was waiting for, right? Is when that first ship starts sailing, and even if it was at 10% capacity, it's like, okay, it's going, it's out there. And certainly again, we've seen changes, we're seeing new rules put on now and again, but the key is they're still sailing and they're going, and people are looking at it and saying, okay, this seems to be working, this is good. And I think yes, between now and the end of the year, it'll be kind of slow going, but I think it does portend to just a phenomenal 2022. So
2022 lookings are looking pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah, we are way ahead in terms of, and when I say way ahead, anybody could say that if you compare it to 21, right? So, I mean, it's kind of you ignore.
2020, we're going to forget about 2020.
Right, so that one's gone, and 2021 isn't going to give you very good real numbers either. So, everything you compare to 19, which when you think about it, was the best year in the history of the industry, right? So, it's actually a pretty high bar to set yourself up against, and we are significantly above 19 in terms of business on the books for the future. So, it's more in the future than maybe it's been in the past, whereas, but I think that'll change too, as again, Caribbean as an example is one that tends to book closer in, so we're not seeing, huge increases in the Caribbean, but for things like Europe and Alaska and others, what we have on the books under deposit today is significantly higher than where we have ever been this far in advance.
Well, I think there's the proverbial pent-up demand, and people who like cruising, it's maybe hard to convince some of them who haven't cruised before to come back. But to be honest with you, I tell everybody who's going to listen, right now, cruising is probably the safest place you can be with all the precautions they've taken, with really pretty much mandated vaccinations. What more do you need to have a vacation without a worry?
It's so true, and I think again, I've always said there's kind of this spectrum of the folks that the day that somebody announced they can go cruising, they want to sign up, they're ready to go, right? And on the other end, you've got the people who you could sit down with them for 6 years and never convince them to cruise, right? But the vast majority are in the middle and just need to be, I don't want to say convinced, because you don't want to convince somebody to do something they don't want to do, but just explain what it's like, and to your point, that look, it probably is the safest place on earth right now, given the scrutiny they've been under, given what they've done over the last year and a half of the safe sail programs and all the other things that, and I think when people hear that message, and even more importantly, now that they see that these ships are going out and having success and doing well, again, I think we're on our way back.
Well, I'm already into my 6th cruise with 2 more to come.
Wow, well, you're way ahead of me. So
I'm working on it, and I've been trying to get out there, all different kinds, a lot of small ship expedition, and river now coming up. It's just amazing. I'll go to my first big ship in a few weeks, but it's great to be back at sea. It's great to be back seeing these incredible products that we have to sell in the marketplace.
Well, I'm so glad you are suffering for the team, my friend. 6 cruises, that's a rough life.
It is a rough life, Scott. You got to join me. You got to come out on a cruise someday. Cruising is kind of a good thing. You should probably check it out.
Oh yeah. It's only made my career over the last.
You can make your Hall of Fame career. It's even better. Now, one thing I should mention is that for a number of years, Scott was my columnist with a column at Agent at Home for Sales Coach. You're still doing that one, but you had a great column. It's one of the best read. It was really an incredible thing. Someday you got to come back to me someday.
Oh, I'd love to. Again, my passion is helping travel agents and helping travel advisors better their business, and I also love to teach from analogies, right? And so the sports world provides some. Musical theater is my other thing. I'm the singing salesman, so definitely use that also. But all of that is intended to get people thinking about, how can I do this a little bit better? How can I help people get the vacation of their dreams?
Yeah. Anything else you want to see to our 90,000 travel advisors out there?
Well, of course, I could be very forward and say, the wonders of cruise planners, but I won't be that commercial. But I will say that, we're in a phenomenal business. We're in a great business that is, I think, got a phenomenal future, and partly because of what we've just gone through, right? For so many of us, that when this started, we all did the comparisons. Well, based on compared to 9/11 or the Great Recession or whatever it is, and then we all realized there is no comparison. This is as bad as it has ever been, and here we are at the ASTA conference with hundreds and hundreds of people who have all gone through this and are all incredibly optimistic about what's to come. So I think we all know the good news is ahead of us, and we've all gone through a very difficult time together. And because of that, we're going to bond even more so and really provide kind of a unified message to the industry that the retail advisor is here and is a really valuable aspect of a vacation.
And the cruise industry is here and is ready to go.
Absolutely right, yeah. And I think they're back and going to be stronger than ever. And new ships are coming, and there's good news ahead. And like you said, the award I got was a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I was a little nervous that they were saying, Scott, you've been at this long enough now. You need to
step back. It's time to go.
Get out of the way. You're done here.
I don't think you're ready for that.
No, I'm not quite ready. No.
Okay. Scott, again, congratulations on the CLIA Hall of Fame award. I'm sorry I wasn't down there to celebrate it with you. I was actually on a cruise, so what are you going to do? I was trying to take one for the team there for a little. Again, congratulations. Couldn't happen to a greater guy.
Thank you very much, James. Always great to jabber with you.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.